many of the libertarians within the conservative movement, the small c conservative movement, criticize the Wild Rose for supporting a federal appeal to the recent Ontario court rulings on I guess, 3 areas on prostitution in the criminal code. A lot of people felt that this showed that libertarian social conservatives couldn't live in the same party within the Wild Rose, or that the Wild Rose was not a consistently libertarian party in that sense, and really questions its commitment to individual liberty. How do you justify this decision to support this appeal? And also, do you feel it's consistent with the party that, like yours, that has a commitment to individual liberty?
Well, we had a long discussion about it, because I've never said that we're a libertarian party. I've said personally that I'm a libertarian, but my colleagues tend to be more socially conservative than I am. And so when these issues come up, we have a robust and vibrant debate on them, and then we try to chart a position that we can both live with. And to me, if you're going to upend decades of community convention when it comes to the issue of prostitution, you need to do that on greater weight than the single voice of a single unelected judge. So in my opinion, even as a libertarian, seeing this process through to its levels of appeal just seems to make sense. Let's get all the arguments on the table. Let's have it go to the Supreme Court level. Let's make sure that all of the arguments are being fully debated and fully discussed. And then if the Supreme Court comes up with that decision, then we would decide what our next steps would be. And in this province, if it went to that level and provinces were then to have to start considering issues of having licensed brothels, then I think what you could do is you could return to community decision making. In this province, for instance, we've had province-wide referendums on moral issues in the past, in the 30s, I believe it was, when we were having a debate about prohibition, ending prohibition. That went to a vote of the general electorate. In 1998, when people were concerned about the impact of VLTs in their community, that also went to a province-wide vote. So communities could decide whether or not they wanted VLTs in their community. I would imagine if this played out through the legislative process and the Supreme Court upheld the lower court's decisions, that would be the same kind of approach that we would take here, that individual communities would be able to decide whether or not they wanted to license these types of establishments. I think you have to allow for communities to make their own decisions, so that those who take a more libertarian view and don't mind having these kinds of establishments would choose to live in one community, and those who would choose to, that they didn't want to live in a community like that, would have the opportunity to as well. I mean, I'm of the view that you have to be respectful of the fact that everybody has different opinions. To me, being a libertarian means that it's not up to me to impose my views on others. It's not up to me to impose my views on my caucus either. These kinds of issues we want to see go to a general vote. We've taken a view that, especially where we have these divisive moral discussions, that if it comes to the legislature, our MLAs have a free vote, but better yet, if citizens want to put forward a petition campaign to initiate a province-wide referendum, we're prepared to see that happen as well, and for communities to make their own decisions about the kind of standards they want to uphold. To me, that just seems to be the perfect balance, going back again to how do you balance liberty with democracy. The closer these decisions are made to the people who are impacted by them, the better decision-making you're going to get.
Social conservatives, religious communities are a big part of the small c conservative movement. In Alberta as elsewhere, a lot of social conservatives were, like observers, were disappointed when the Wild Rose at the AGM in Red Deer decided to not support, I guess it was Section 3 of the Alberta Human Rights Code, to better protect freedom of expression, usually for unpopular ideas that religious people would have. Although at the same time, the Wild Rose has stood by the conscience rights of healthcare workers. I'm just trying to see how would you attract and how would you fit social conservatives within the party? Abortion, same-sex marriage, these are issues that I guess most parties want to touch. Same-sex marriage is gone as an issue, but how would the Wild Rose or any kind of true small c conservative party attract social conservatives, keep them?
Well, let me deal first with the issue of the Human Rights Commissions. We had a policy from last year that we would have removed Section 3 from the Act to take away the power of the Human Rights Commission to be able to haul people before it for free speech or I guess political correctness reasons. And we saw a number of examples, for instance, with Ezra Levant, publisher of Western Standard, having been hauled before a Human Rights Commission for publishing the Danish cartoons. And in Calgary, Bishop Fred Henry getting hauled before a Human Rights Commission for publishing a pastoral letter opposed to gay marriage. So those are the kind of things we want to stop. Our members amended that policy to make it a little bit more broad. They said that they wanted to see a revision to the Act to unequivocally support the free speech rights that we have in this province. So I look at that as actually being a broadening of the interpretation of what our members wanted. And I think that that's completely consistent with what our social conservative friends and supporters in our party want to see. No, the way I look at it is our party is going to be successful if we focus on those issues on which we can agree. There's a lot that needs to be fixed in this province. There are a lot of areas that we have alignment on, between social conservatives and libertarians, where we can make some great progress. If we allow ourselves to continue to be derailed, number one, by divisive issues, by taking a stance one way or the other, we're going to alienate a portion of our membership base. So we have chosen to not take positions on abortion, chosen not to take positions on gay rights. What we have taken a position on is the importance of free speech. We believe that if you believe in democracy, you should believe that every person with should have the opportunity to express their opinion. And even if it's politically incorrect, even if it might cause some offense to somebody, you have to be able to have a robust and vibrant debate on the whole range of issues. And that has been the unifying principle under which our party has been operating, is that we accept that everybody has the opportunity to be able to bring forward a policy. Now, if somebody brings forward a policy that isn't able to pass muster at our AGM because people don't want to get involved in these kinds of divisive issues, then I have to accept the wisdom of our members on that. But we still offer an opportunity for social conservatives to be able to bring forward issues that are important to them through having a policy for citizen-initiated referenda. So if we were to form government, anybody would be able to launch a petition campaign, get enough signatures, and force it to a vote of the general public. And that's important because sometimes politicians don't want to deal with issues that are going to cause division. And in some cases, having representative democracy isn't the best way to deal with those issues. The best way to deal with these moral issues is to allow for every citizen to be able to have the right to express their opinion and have a direct vote. And it's worked so far for us to take that kind of approach. I think both our libertarian friends and our social conservative friends feel like that's the appropriate way to go forward on it. I had somebody, for instance, know that I happen to be pro-choice, but I know that many of our members are pro-life. Somebody asked me if we would put forward a policy to put on the record that we were a pro-choice party. And I said, why would we do that? Because if we did that, then we know that we would be alienating our pro-life friends. And it goes the other way around. Why would we also go on the record saying we're a pro-life party? Then we're just going to alienate our pro-choice friends. These are issues that cannot be adequately solved through a party policy development process. And for that reason, our members have chosen to stick to those issues on which we do agree. And I think it's very wise to do that.